Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba.
What's up, everybody? It's Luke here with Brick by Brick. In this video, I want to talk about my history and opinion on Lego Star Wars because it's May the 4th. I hope you kind of like that thing that I did, in the intro. I don't know how good it'll turn out when I edit this video or how close I can get to looking like, a Star Wars themed thing, but I figured that'd be pretty cool. So we're going to get into it today. So I'm not really a big, huge Star Wars fan. Like, I like Star Wars, mostly because of, like, the war aspect to it. And, there's people battling each other and people shooting at each other. I've always been into, like, military action stuff. Like, I really like Halo. I really like Call of Duty. I really like just all those first-person shooter games or even just shooter games in general. So Star Wars has always been pretty cool to me, but I've never been like a nerd about it. I've seen a lot of the movies like here and there, but I've never sat down and watched like every single movie from the first to the end. So I'm not really caught up in, I guess, the storyline and lore to it. But so my first introduction to actual like Lego Star Wars was probably when I first played the Lego Star Wars video games on my Nintendo DS when I was like a really, really young kid. And me and my brother, we had like, we don't even have our DSs anymore. I think we sold them to somebody. I wish we would have kept them just because that's just a big nostalgia thing. Even though it would probably be hard to play the games now because obviously because of the graphics and, you're so used to seeing stuff on a big screen instead of a small little like screen like that, like this is on the original Nintendo DS. But yeah, that's what we first started playing out on, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Lego Star Wars on the Nintendo. There was kind of limits to it though, and I don't remember exactly which ones we played and which ones we didn't. Because I know there's tons of different Lego Star Wars video games out there, just the many they made over the years in remakes. But we played it on the Nintendo DS, and then we also played it on the Xbox 360. Which Xbox 360 was a lot better because one, you get to play it on a bigger screen. Usually it was better graphics than the Nintendo, obviously because the Nintendo DS had that small screen. Just overall, I think it provided more missions and different aspects of the game that they didn't have on that Nintendo DS version. And then also when I was a kid, my grandma, she got me like a few like little small Star Wars battle packs. That was kind of the first introduction into like Lego Star Wars. Like actually building it, but they were just like small little packs. They weren't like big ships or anything. It came with a few minifigures. So I have some older sets of like snow troopers and some other small little sets, but it's nothing like on a big scale. And then like also when I was at my grandma's too, we'd play with like Lego action figures that my dad had when he was a kid. And these are like old figures like Chewbacca, Luke. Not Lego, but it's still cool to play with those old figures and, as a kid, tell those stories in your head. But yeah, I built those few small battle packs, and then that was basically it, like, for Lego Star Wars. I mean, I played, some of the games back on the Xbox 360 throughout the years, but I never really got back into it, any actually building Lego-wise. I remember when we were older, I think when I maybe was a teenager or something like that, we went and saw the Star Wars The Force Awakens, that new movie that came out. And then I remember seeing Rogue One shortly after that when that came out. They were good movies, but I wasn't like, really, really into it like a lot of people are, because a lot of people are really, really into Star Wars. But yeah, I watched those movies, and then I've also watched like The Mandalorian here and there on Disney Plus and a few other like small little shows. But The Mandalorian I like, but those other like small little spin-off shows I really didn't understand them as much because I probably wasn't, like I said, understood the storyline and like the history behind Star Wars and you know who was when and where and whatever. My mom really likes like baby Yoda or Grogu, whatever you want to call him. So she has like stuffed animals and she has like a Bop It toy of Baby Yoda where it's basically a Baby Yoda and you know like the Bop It toy where you bop it, twist it, pull it. It's just basically bopping, pulling, and twisting. Like you twist his head, you bop his head, and then you pull his legs. That's the 3 movements. But I've maxed out the score on that. That's like 100. Because once you get to 100, it'll say you beat Bop It. But all those stuffed animals and you know that toy is back home in Prince George. So getting into this more recently, me getting back into Lego Star Wars. I haven't played any like Lego Star Wars video games in a while. Well, I don't really have the time to do it now, which you could make time if you want to do something really bad.